the long. I called it the Wiener Schnitzel stream.
It was good. It did me well. I got out of it when we broke back underneath the high volume node, which
Yeah, man, I can't believe I missed that VWAP short. What? Like, I took too many trades today. I think that's why I got like, I guess I got like analysis paralysis after a while because I took like 5 trades and I think I got broke even on one, and the other 4 were like insane bangers.
yeah, like I had long and a short today, so I was doing pretty good.
That
So
is pretty good.
yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Good signals. So I had a nice short yesterday. A nice short yesterday. That was
Oh, he
last
just threw
night.
something. Yeah, you know what? I think that one I made. Did I miss that one? I can't remember now. What happened last night again?
What do you mean?
I mean, I can't remember. I just don't. I genuinely don't remember the price action. I gotta like look at it now. I just
Uh,
can't remember what happened.
we
Like,
back
you said you
tested that
showed.
we yeah I shorted the back test of the POC. Remember how my POC was different from your POC?
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me check.
Yeah.
Man, so much like. Oh, this is shenanigans. Okay, wait now. Oh, up there. Did I short that? I can't remember now.
Yeah. So what's up, Thor?
Something tells me I did. I can't remember, bro. I listen. I got bad memory. I took too many. When I take too many trades, I forget which ones I take. If I did, if I posted about it, I took it. If I didn't post about it, I didn't take it. Usually, that's usually. I mean, I guess I still take some trades that I don't post about, but like, you know, sometimes you don't have time to post. But what's going on here? I don't think Thor's mic's working, bro. Thor, we can't hear you.
What up, you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can. Now you're good. What's going on, my fellow Wiener Schnitzels?
Nada, man.
You know,
Nada.
being a Wiener
Hold
Schnitzel.
on. Same
Yeah.
old PA we've been talking about for like, I don't know, days
I
on
have a
end.
feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be the norm in the bear market, bro. Like if we start busting back in that other range, I think we're going to be having these conversations all the time where we're like, didn't we just talk about this a day ago or 2 days ago?
Yeah, it's usually just like the stuff in between, you know?
Yeah.
It's nothing new. Like everything we've been talking about for quite some time.
That was a. Oh, we got the daily close. Let me see what that looks like.
Looks like
Oh
a
my
booty
goodness
hole right
gracious.
now.
Looks like a
You have
daily.
impossible
It's a
swing
daily
tail.
SFP.
I'm just wiping this thing clean, man. I can't
Yeah,
stand
but the
all.
daily closed outside the macro range at 76.3. I just made a post on my channel that I would feel a lot more comfortable if we can start closing and holding above 76.3. Matter of fact, you start closing and holding above 76.3 and I don't think there's really a whole lot above us that you're gonna find a sticking point at.
Bro, I can't find this pattern anywhere. Like I'm like
Pattern.
looking on the daily time frame to see if I can remember the last time we've had like a candle formation that looks like this with all those wicks. Like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, and I don't even remember the last time
What time
I've seen that
frame?
pattern.
Let
I'm
me
on the
yeah.
daily.
Right there.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like
That's
different
different.
though. I guess.
That's different. That's like a liquidity curve. This one's
Yeah.
kicking ass the whole
So
way.
I mean,
You're
you would think
obviously finding some absorption happening
you
here.
have to be.
Like,
Yeah, you are for sure.
yeah, it's
There's
obvious,
one up there,
but
kind of.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
dude,
guess you could
I'm
say that.
willing to go out on a limb and say that if we haven't found a bottom, we're close to a bottom. Like, I would
Refined
love to
bottom.
see us either consolidate, range, break up, but I mean, you've had nearly like, I mean, ever since we dumped from 97.3 down, we've come down
It looks like one.
25%.
Kind
This
of.
looks like it.
Kind of. There was one a little bit to the right. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Look at those three right there before we took off. At like 36K before we went up.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then if you go a little bit more to the right, I think there was something right around there after the big wick. No, the next little range over to the right.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you're going to get some reprieve.
And
The
right
question
below
is,
it,
how much are
literally
you going to
right
get?
below it too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like obviously, we're seeing buying happen here, but here's the thing. What would be very bearish for me, and almost pretty much a guaranteed close back in the range. If we close below this on the daily, that ain't good. After all that absorption, that's showing that buying has left that level altogether. Right. So now, if we get a daily bearish close after all those buy wicks, that's like, I think it's fairly rare to get that, but that would not be good. Like for me, I would say, yeah, we're coming right back in this bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because this demand here was the only thing, like this demand for me, I always look at like on these bigger ranges. Doesn't matter what time frame. When I say bigger ranges, I mean literally like a range bigger than your average range on that specific time frame that you're looking at. And I look at what caused the range to actually break. Like what final OB or sell to buy caused it to break. Well, this one did. It's the last one, right? And look, what did price come back for? Came right back for it. See? So if we can't hold that, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to obviously find acceptance back in this range, clearly. Like this is like make or break. And what's really funny is Bitcoin Euro actually hit this yesterday, even before this or the day before yesterday.
Yeah. You
So it's
pulled
kind
up.
of like
You had me pulled up.
it's kind of interesting because it was like a little bit of like a glance into the future kind of thing, if you think about it. I mean, you wouldn't have known that, but it's interesting how the market moves.
Where's the
Actually, what
euro
I'm
now?
looking at, it didn't. It's still in the same spot.
Yeah.
Basically, same range. But what is interesting, it also looks like a Model 1, right? So it looks like 1, 2, 3. If you close and hold the Model 1 above these highs here, we could see some nice reprieve. I think we should see at least this range, but maybe even more, like maybe up to here, 90s. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by level, but we're not going to do that right now. I'm not doing any more macro guesses right now. I don't care about them.
No.
Like not like way up there. I mean, I'll just talk local. So that's nice. It has a Model 1 kind of like look to it. It looks like a nice spring. However, I also wouldn't be surprised if they did a 4-tapper like this. I've seen that a lot too, where they do 4 taps because they come back for them later. If it's not meant to be a very significant low, they could do a 4-tap model here. Although I will say this, the spacing between the taps is almost picture perfect. Like look at this. And then look at this. It's not bang on, but it's damn close. Oops. I made a mistake. Hold on. Close. Very, very, very close. Time displacement being the closer is usually a better model. The only thing I don't like about this model, for this to be an accumulation, is I don't like the way it's shaped. I don't like how it's shaped. Yeah, it has McDonald's logo. I don't like that shape. It doesn't have like a good RT. Oh shit, that's hot chocolate. Can you pour some out? That overflowed. Yeah, whoopsie daisy. I was like, what are you doing? You're making a mess. Yeah, it kind of has that McDonald's logo look. Now the problem is the aggression down. Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't look like a good return to zone. You know what I mean? Even though it didn't quite take out this high everywhere, some exchanges didn't take it out. It's like equal highs. The problem is you have like a very significant supply rate here. This 1 hour OB to me is like my make or break zone. Like you get above that, I think you're taking the high of the range out. I don't think it's going to be an SFP of the range high. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just not getting that vibe right now. Like, what's the point of accumulating just to SFP the high? I think if that's going to be the play, it's more likely to be like this range here, the PO3 it down, and then do that rather than just this. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I'll watch any idea. I just don't think that's as likely. But yeah, this 1 hour OB, we actually front ran it, and I didn't realize it. This is why I missed the short, because I didn't realize there was friggin' VWAP there. Yeah, I didn't notice it at all, actually. Now, apparently, it's not the VWAP on USDT. What was it on then? Oh, USD. was probably USD's VWAP or MEXC's VWAP. Let me check. I bet you it was MEXC's VWAP. Yeah, that's way better. MEXC's VWAP is way better, and that's what I look at both MEXC because there's a lot of volume on there these days, and Bybit for VWAP. And this is picture perfect because you have the PO3 on your VWAP, which I always say is a great thing, right? Here's your accumulation. Here's the manipulation, trapping traders above VWAP, thinking it's a breakout. It's actually a little distribution as well with a rounded top. Enter on the break of structure, coming back below your VWAP, coming back within the range. Like, this is a no-brainer. I don't even know how I missed this, bro. I never miss these. It's crazy. Short, laugh your way to the bank. Easy peasy, kind of short. Actually, and then there was more shorts. I missed, I think, every one of them, bro. Like, yeah. So there was a few other shorts because you also had a distribution. If you didn't get in there, you could have waited for the safer bet. The safer bet, using my concepts, my way of entering, would have been breaking here. And then you would have had just a simple RIMC kind of thing, right? Where you have a supply range, which is also yet another distribution range. Price comes down, it mitigates it. Okay, well then enter on the mitigation as it's leaving away. Get in there and the bearish candle leaving. Cover the high or cover the supply, whatever you're comfortable with, and short it right there. You already have the bearish follow through. This is the back test. And if you didn't like that, well then look for the next rounded top. Where's your next rounded top? Right here. Structure breaks down. I probably wouldn't have went for this because that's way too low of a break. I probably would have used my downward structure here after seeing the very clear 3 taps and rounded top. I would have shorted here. Would have covered. I probably missed every one of these. I would have covered here and I would have targeted down towards the range low. That's a kind of a shitty short in comparison to the other ones, but yeah, there's definitely shorts. I don't see any longs. Like, I wouldn't have taken a long here yet, and the reason why I don't want to long it yet is because I'm not going to say we're overextended. It's a terrible way to say it. We didn't hit like notable demand yet within this zone, right? This is just a big old inefficiency for me. There was a little bit of a demand zone that we tried to hold. I think it was a 10-minute block, or no, it wasn't a 10. Yeah, there was a 3-minute block right here, but we went through it a little bit. And because we went through it, not a huge fan of that. So my next instinct is to look like what happened. Like, what's the next thing that happened? Oh, duh, there's an accumulation right here. 1, 2, 3. It was also a failed distribution model and it blasted up higher. So where I longed on this whole, I only had one long on this move here. It's kind of crazy actually, because people are like, you breakout trade? No, it's not a breakout trade. It's a continuation trade. It's just very, very local, and it's a very advanced trade, I would say. But on the move up, as I seen it squeezing, I knew there was nothing else here to stop me. After this was the only zone. Like, if it reacted, it was going to react bearishly, but it didn't, so it held. I seen this wick. I literally did this. The first candle, like as I seen a candle closing outside the wick, I went boom, stop below the wick, and I targeted up. That was exactly my trade that I posted. 8-hour win. And I posted it right away as soon as I took it, and it was beautiful, really. But the reason why I took that is because this wick, it ran out local lows next to it, including this bullish order block. So it swept local liquidity. That's all it had to do. It was a tight risk reward. Sometimes you just have to take the shot, right? 1% for an 8% win, I'll take that any day. If it looks like it has even a 50-50 win rate, I'll take that. It's worth the risk. It's worth the reward, potential reward for me to take a trade like that every time. So now what I'm looking at is either so we back test this range, which we haven't quite done yet. I have alert staggered right below it. B, this is an accumulation forming right here, right now, and we already missed the long, or we could just try to follow it up later because you have 1, 2, 3. There was a distribution in between, and now it's trying to re-break structure back up again here. So if we see something like this, we could try a long. And holding VWAP, obviously. Look for a long after the back test of VWAP to go up here. We could try a trade like that. Alternatively, obviously, I'm looking for any kind of reaction out of here, right? Anything out of here, I already posted this earlier. I'm looking for a long. And I have one more thing that I'm watching, and that would be the low. Obviously, the low itself, everybody's watching that low. I don't even got to talk about that. The other thing is, if we actually SFP this demand zone, which I've seen to do a partial fair value gap fill, on many occasions I've seen that happen. I'm not really a big fan of that idea. I know it gives you technically a lower entry, I just don't like it. So like, I'm not as confident in it, but I would say, I don't know. Let's say you start tapping into these fair value gaps down here from the move up earlier. And you get something like this, right? Now you'd have to have structure. I wouldn't take that without structure because that you're getting in really risky territory there. To blindly just trust that that's going to make a higher low is kind of crazy to me. I think it's foolish and very reckless. So I wouldn't do the catching a knife game down there. Personally, I don't want to. But if I had structure, even if I had like 30-second, 15-second structure, I'd rather choose that over just blindly taking a knife. No way I'm taking a knife entry. I don't do those. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for that. Maybe we SFP, but I don't think it's a great idea to go down that far because even from like a volume standpoint, if you do an upwards pull, even if I shouldn't pull it that far over. And right here. Yeah, right here. Like all the volumes in here. Like why come back into here? Right? If this is meant to go higher, why come down into here? We can leave those FVGs for later, right? And that's kind of what I'm thinking. It doesn't really make sense to me to come back that far. So and where's the golden pocket at? Let's see what the G Pizzle guys are looking at. The old G Pizzles. Maybe front run the GP. That'd be good. Now that would be decent, right? Front run the GP, hit the HVN instead. 74.9-ish, which would also be a nice FVG fill here into the back test of the accumulation model. I would refine it just like this. Here's my juicy zone right here. So this would be my juicier zone in between. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Sorry if you hear my kid crying in the background over a game. My wife's trying to calm him down. Yeah, well, you got to delete that game. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at here as well. So basically here, all along here, if we break structure across, which we may have just done, let me see. Yeah, we're breaking structure here internally speaking, but again, this is very internal and it may not hold. So I'm watching it for a VWAP long, or generalized area VWAP, doesn't have to be perfect, right? If I see structure pulling down on the 30-second, 1 minute time frame, I may entertain a long here if I see this, but I'm only getting in if there's a break. I don't want a reaction trade VWAP because now we're kind of like chopping all over it, right? I don't care about that anymore. Whereas here, you only touch VWAP once in hours. That's a different story. When it's choppity, I don't like that, right? That's no good to me. As far as shorts go, you guys already have my level. I'm watching this 1 hour OB, which is basically here. This whole thing is essentially your 1 hour OB, which is a very critical zone for me. And no, it's not perfect. You can draw it. Just go to the 1 hour and draw it in if you want it, or look at my post in my channel because it's in there. Which is basically, I'm kind of looking and thinking, could this be like a distribution on its own, where this is a high, higher low, SFP, something like a 3-tap model into the 1 hour OB, or maybe it's just a simple rejection into it. I don't know, but I'm treating this as a range now. Like this high to this low, even though it's not quite confirmed yet, I'm considering it a potential range. And that's my range right here. Even though it's not quite hitting my 50% line, which is my general rule requirement for confirming my ranges, I'm kind of front running that idea right now. If I don't get that and it starts dumping down, well, obviously I was wrong. It doesn't matter because there was no trade there anyway. So I'm going to drop prematurely. And we're looking for essentially deviations of the low, deviations of the high, very simple stuff. And maybe trading the extreme up to premium if we touch VWAP again. Those are your higher probability local scalp trades, I feel. I don't really want to short unless we take the high, I'll be honest, because I just don't really feel like there is many good ideas here. The only thing maybe that I would consider, but you'd have to be quick on your toes with this one, right? Because this is actually something that can backfire against you very, very, very quickly. You have one little area of supply right here, lower low, lower high, and then a straight down lower low. And if you draw your boss line in, look at that, it was missed. So right here, it's not like a standard OB per se. It doesn't have to be. But right here, you have yourself a, let me draw a fixed range in. There's not much volume there. I mean, I guess there's a little bit right here. There's a little bit of volume there, but there's nothing super significant, which is why, again, I'd be very hesitant to take this idea, right? I'd be very hesitant to take it. But you could draw that as a potential. right? We could draw it as a potential. So draw your trend line over, put an alert right here. If we sweep this local high here and we fail to deliver effective price action above and we start coming back in the range, depending on the break, if it's a swift structure break and not crunched up market structure, I'd take a trade on it. As long as it's legible up, down, up, down, up, down, and a quick down. But if it's doing this, and I gotta come up with a name for this structure, bros, because I don't know what to call it. But if it's like range-like structure, I guess we can call it range structure. If it's range structure, I don't want it. I'm going to wait for lower, and then I'll follow it down, rim see it down. So let me just do a little quick recap on these local ideas here. I guess we can look for this. We can look for a back test near or below VWAP. They might manipulate below it, kind of like this. Or this is your expected VWAP. And then we have, deviation here, deviation here, deviation up here. I mean, that's pretty much all I want to trade. If for some reason, I guess we can talk about this. If for some reason we do not deviate the high and we start smashing through all this stuff up here, and we're getting nice bullish follow through, everything looks great. You're getting this kind of nice aggressive price action all the way up here. Nice bullish push. Okay, well then look for backtest longs, but the problem is like it could squeeze because the whole thing up here is basically one giant curve, right? You see this big curve right here? This whole thing's a curve. So when we have a curve situation and the last remaining effective supply is at the bottom of that curve, oftentimes you won't get a retest. It'll just do that. So just be warned. What you may have to do is either A, wait for the next best trade, which may be outside of this range, or B, try to do what I did in here that I showed you guys a few seconds ago using that wick, right? Just take whatever lower time frame rim sees back test you can get. If you see 30-second structure pushing up, you can try that long. If you don't like that one, you can wait for this mitigation zone to get hit, try that one. Eventually it's going to do this though, right? And then go higher. So if you're too tight with your stop losses, you'll get smoked. You have to be reasonable and know what you're doing to take trades like that. It's not something I would suggest unless, first of all, if you have my course, then yeah, and you already studied it, you could try that. If you didn't, don't even dare try it. You'll get wrecked because you really need to know what you're doing for trades like that in the low time frames. It's very hard to do the mitigation continuation game if you don't know what you're doing from a perfect structure standpoint when you're dealing with like 15-second, 30-second, 1 minute structure. That is pretty much, again, I'll leave like the more of the higher volume node stuff to Spartan and the higher, I know like the other ideas, mid time frame, higher time frame stuff I'm sure you guys are going to talk about. I don't really care about anything outside this box here. Like this area here is all I'm really interested in right now. This purple box. I don't really care about anything else because that's not going to make me any money. Like I only want to trade local because I don't want to get married to any ideas until I see exactly what's going to happen first. But yeah, that's all I have. Who wants to go next? You guys there?
Spartan.
Yo, can you hear?
Good.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna briefly go over what
Working that whole time.
I was looking. Please yell at me if it pauses again. So yeah, where we were at yesterday. All right, we were up around here, just breaking underneath this POC, and I was looking at this POC, and one thing that I said was, let me see if I can pull this back a little bit to where we were. I think this is pretty much the exact pool. What I saw was we had an imbalance between these two nodes. And why did I think that? Because these two nodes were very similar in volume height. So I felt that either one could have been the POC. They were both super close. So I thought if we got trapped underneath this POC, there was a good chance we might fall down the rabbit hole down to the next high volume node. All right. And that's essentially what we ended up doing. I think we streamed right in here. I saw that and I'll zoom in for you guys. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so we had the POC. I'll move it. What time was this? So we were at about 9 o'clock, I think, last night. So I'll show you guys exactly where the POC was. So we were at 9 o'clock. All right, and my main thing for the trade was because I was kind of looking at possibly both scenarios happening, whereas we could have just came down for this, got in the bounce, taking it up, SFP those highs. But I really knew that the juice was kind of more worth the squeeze on a short on this because we could chill around that area and bounce around before we actually made our move. So pretty much what happened once we broke this, came back up, I got into a trade. My first take profit was this low. I said I was looking at this low first.
Where was your stop loss at? Did you just cover the highs?
So on this one, I covered this
Yeah.
previous high here. I
Oh, you
covered this
did?
previous
Oh, I'm
high.
proud of
But
you.
but the thing is that this was a compounded trade from above, so my break even was like up here.
Oh, so
So
like,
yeah,
okay.
so once I took money off the trade, I kind of pushed the stop because once I saw us come back up, I was like, all right, there's a good chance we might kind of dick around here. I wanted to compound back in, but I couldn't. Freaking, it was 3:30 in the morning. I was sleeping. So I stayed alive. There wasn't barely anything in the trade after we came down and tagged this node. Both of my TPs hit. So that was good on my part. But I said last night that this low was gonna we might target that low, followed by these, and then I was looking for the fair value gap. All right, followed by this node being the final little taparoo of my trade. I didn't really, there was no sense of me keeping a lot in the trade or really anything in the trade past this bottom node. Anything could happen, so it ended up working out pretty well. I came down all the way down to this, and then like I said, there wasn't barely anything left in the trade when it kind of rolled over there. So it was still nice. Like I added a good amount to my account today off of this trade alone, but you know it was, yeah, it could have been better. If I lived in London or wherever Boyan lives and I was up at 3 o'clock, I would have taken this break again because you see what happens is what we came back up after we hit this. What did we do? Let me move this over so you guys can see where the POC is. Even though I know you guys are pretty smart, so you probably could. All right. So what did we do? We came down, bounced off of this larger node. Remember, I said that I thought this was an imbalance. You can see how it's not really looking as much of an imbalance because we're starting to build volume along this area. All right. And we kept on coming up, and you could have taken, realistically, this one probably would have been a break even unless you had a super tight, like, I don't even think this would have been worth it. Taking it from this retest down to this low, that probably wouldn't have been really anything. You would have came back at and stopped out. But this trade here, this would have been a nice one. This would have been a really nice one. We come back over, break underneath, tap, and I'm still following the same criteria. If we're back testing that POC, I think that we come down to the larger node below. And I also felt that we left a lot of stuff untapped. So we had these lows still intact. I remember this was a big thing that I talked about. The 1 hour or 4 hour fair value gap, all of those things were still kind of, you know, still kind of on the board. I did get a little bullish when we got into this fair value gap because it was also a demand tap into this little demand or this little range or whatever you want to call it right around here. All right, we tapped right into the top of that. That, even if you don't want to call it demand, it was definitely a support and resistance flip. Hold on, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Boom, support and resistance flip. But what happened, guys? We ended up coming up and just getting smacked back down. And this is where, after you see this develop and you notice that you don't really have as much of an imbalance again, like, I don't see, if we're up here and we're getting rejected after we break back within this node and we break through it, I don't think we're coming back up again. Look how much trading after, because this is where the stream was last night. This is where that little low volume node developed. Look how much we kind of ranged in between those two nodes. And I'm sure on these highs, or yeah, on those highs, you had models like freaking distributions and stuff that you could have taken advantage at those levels, not even
Yeah.
using volume. But yeah, so we ended up getting a bigger bounce here. The next short that I took was after a long that I took. Um And that long was based off of, I'll show you guys right now. That long was based off of tapping into, I forget, it was the SFP. All right, we had this little market structure break, and I know on the lower time frames you guys can see it a lot more, but I felt that this was valid enough to be like, oh shit, maybe we can try to get in. I took the trade after the break of these. So once it got up a little bit from this little retrace and we broke that high, I entered it. It was a complete degen trade because I already won money from the market the night before. I was like, all right, I don't mind taking this trade, putting my stops right underneath this candle where the fair value gap is on the 1 minute, and called it a day. And I ran that up. I got some pretty nice take profits along the way, and we were good to go. So, but yeah, man. The short that I took was up here. This was the second short that I took. All right, and what I ended up doing was after we broke above this, we got above, we came down, we retested it, and broke back underneath again. I, like a duck, entered on the break of this. I honestly, my butthole kind of clenched up when we started coming back up because I literally had my stop loss right above this HVN. So if we would have came above there, I would have been stopped out. So freaking, I got saved. My entry was 76 200 ish. So right around here on this break of structure. So this internal break of structure. So on the 1 minute, because I actually did some degen timeframes today. So after we broke this low, breaking underneath the high volume node, breaking under this, I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's go. Freaking, because that would, in my opinion, I thought that would have been a good move. I took half out already. I took half out at the bottom of this node that I have highlighted. I think that was a fair value gap also, or I think it was just a node on the lower time frames, one of the two. Yeah, it was just a node, this node right here. Hold on. Doot, doot, doot. All right. And the dead center is the POC. And I just took the whole thing because it was a chunk. I didn't really have much to go off of. So that's really what I went off of that short to take profit. As of right now, that short's about to get stopped out. So I'm about 100 and something dollars away from it getting stopped out. I'm good with it. I've taken half out. I'm good where my stop is. Like, I will end the trade green. So I'm in kind of a positive mood about that. And what else? What else we got? And that's really about it. The main thing I'm looking for now, which I would like to see, and I don't like that we saw this rejection at this high volume node. All right, I would definitely like to see us get back above it, retest it, and then come back up. The only thing that kind of sucks about that is if you take a trade at this acceptance into here, you're taking a trade right into a big supply, right into a big supply. So that could end very badly because it could very easily come up and then just yoink itself right back down. So I'm keeping an eye on that. These lows don't look great in my opinion. You could drop down to the 30 minute. Like the wick is very small. It's like a micro wick. But, and we front ran this high volume node at 72,405. So maybe we get one more little push down. I don't think that would be great because then you run the realm of a four tapper. And what I've seen over time is that four tappers usually don't do very well. Usually those are like a false little move up before getting completely smacked down. But, if we do get above this high volume node here, we make it above this demand, I think it's off to the races to at least 79.5. Getting above that, man, we start talking the conversation. If we can get above 79.5 coming in here, I think we start having the conversation about going up to 82 to 84, anywhere back within this area here. So I would keep an eye out. We do have some support at that level. You can see we actually got two taps there. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. So I would keep an eye out on that, but I don't know, man. I think we gravitate up to that 84. That 84, I guess you can say it was kind of back tested, but how we fell off is, we left a lot of liquidity behind. We allowed everybody and their mother to short this move, so they need to pay. Only the big hedge funds can get into these and the institutional money. Retail traders are not allowed to win. Above that, guys, then you know what? The game plan stays the same. I got 84.3. That's what I would like to see. I can actually move this down to where the actual POC is, and that's 84 flat pretty much. Then we have this up here, which is 87.384. So anywhere to fill that gap. And like I said down here with the little gap that formed, I expect if we do get acceptance back in here, we're going to form some type of range, whether it be all the way up to the POC or we come in here and just do one of these, before moving down or up. A lot of up and down trading right now. Like, it's very possible that, I don't know, man. I feel like we did get some type of movement down here, but I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced that this is the bottom to take us back up to 102, 104 if we do go back up there. It can be. I definitely think getting above this stuff from here and then retesting this, that could take us up, but I agree with you that this M pattern isn't very reassuring. That shit is ugly. Ugly, 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 ugly. All right, so until we get above that, I'm kind of just in the mood. We are at resistance, guys. We are right under resistance. That could possibly be a good thing. Consolidating beneath resistance is typically a good thing. Look what we had here. We consolidated beneath resistance. What happens when we finally broke? 4% to the upside. So maybe we can kind of do that again. But again, guys, I would like to see a good retest of this level. And 100%, guys, like you need to cross reference your charts compared to other exchanges, because the nodes might be a little thicker. The PO, whatever you're trading on, like me, I try to stay on the exchanges that kind of mimic where I'm trading on when I'm actually looking for entries. I do like the higher volume exchanges like Bybit, Binance, and stuff to get the general. All right, this is where I should be looking for the POC. But then I'll drop down to Binance is a lot closer to being X's price action. I'll look on that chart to be like, all right, so I found where I want to be looking for this node, but what's the exact level on this chart that will give me the best chance to get into this trade on being X based upon the information that I have. But right now, like I said, we have the HVN up at 76,399, and we're kind of just chilling, man. We are kind of just chilling. So it would be nice to see us go higher. We've been dumping for a while. I would definitely like it. My bags would like it, the little bit that I have left, but I don't like this slow. I really don't. Looking at volume, let's see, across this range. If we do go down any lower, this area right here, I think would be good. I think you said you had something in this area right here, right? 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have something in that area. So I'll definitely be looking for maybe a push under there. I don't want to go back down though, man. Like, this should be running. This should really be running, man. And
Yeah.
this is a huge SFP, man. This is a very huge SFP, because how long was this low maintained? Like, there's a lot of people that were holding on to trades, in my opinion, at this low. We got this, what was it? Freaking from there to here. That was a year worth liquidity just hanging out in there that just got purged out. I do like, all right, so one of the big things that me and my buddy were talking about, and I'm going to show you, let me see if I have it on another chart, actually, because I don't want to disturb the ecosystem of my charts. Let me see. No. Is it this one? Yeah. So where this arrow is, those areas, that's what I kind of talked about yesterday, the low volume nodes. Like, they act as as magnets. They really do. Like you go to these areas and it's like right as you're tipping into a previous range, you know, I think this would be if we were gonna find a bottom. I like this area. Hold on. I like this area for the bottom. I really do. I would hate to see us go down to 67. It's very possible. That's the POC of this previous range, I believe. 80 set or 67.3. You know, that wouldn't be horrible, but man, I kind of want to see us just bounce off of this previous range and then take off, you know? But I was checking something earlier and I don't know if I'm doing this right. I might be doing it wrong, but hold on. I feel like what you talk about with, because you mentioned this yesterday, and hold on, 1.25, is that, yeah. So we came down, we broke the quote unquote deviation threshold, but it looks like we're trying to get back within this previous range deviation threshold or whatever the hell you want to call it. Which I like that extra 0.25 on either side. Like that's actually helped me out a lot in the last like month and a half or so. So
Yeah, same.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It would be really cool to get back within this up here, but honestly, we have a lot of stuff from where we are now to getting up there that could get in the way. Like, guys, this is just a overall view of the levels that I have immediately in front of us. You know, like where we're at now is right here. You can see we have one, two, three, four. I'll count this as just one high volume node. Four major high volume nodes to get us back up to 87. So I definitely think there's going to be good trades along this area. These nodes have actually they've been paying. They've been doing really well with the break and retest. You've been getting entry criteria off of those points of interest. So, you know, I'm just going to keep rocking with it. And hopefully we can see, I don't know. I would like to see higher, but I understand that there's stuff below us. There is stuff below us. So this 72,405, I don't know if I showed that to you where that's coming from on my chart. I would pull this back. You can see we do have a little bit of volume in there. You see that little nub. I don't know how well that's going to hold. You know, like I like areas like this, but this is something immediately in the range that is kind of nice to me. But again, you go into four tapper. There's a lot of oh shit, you know, thinking about it where it's like, damn, you get analysis of paralysis because there's so many. Like this is the if we're gonna bounce, this is the area we should bounce from. You know, without
Yeah.
expecting much lower. Like, you know, these other 59, 60, whatever, okay, cool. Those are great levels. I think, you know what, it wouldn't be horrible if we found some type of support within these levels. Like, let me see, the POC of that range is where? POC's up here of this range, which I don't, this is kind of off. Oh, no, because I'm missing half the range. That's why. Boom. There we go. Yeah, the POC's right there. So maybe we do come all the way down to 67. You know, that might be the better trade. But we've already tapped that POC to the dollar. I don't really know if there's much hanging out in there anymore. You know, and it was not just a to the dollar tap where you don't purge any of that POC liquidity. Because remember, guys, a lot of people that trade POCs, value area highs and stuff like that, they're keeping their stops and stuff really close to that level. So if it just hits it by the dollar and then continues moving, all these people that entered on that POC aren't really getting stopped out. When you get a purge of a level and then you come back above it, you know, I like those. Like I know with ranges and stuff, it's a little different, but what I've noticed with POC levels, high volume nodes, you kind of like to see the level get raped a little bit, like just ran through, and then freaking come back over, retest it. Like here, we came down to the POC, we tapped it to the dollar, and then ran through it, came back up. because you want to purge liquidity. You want to kick people out of the trade. You don't want them to be able to participate. You want to take their money and run with it so you can fill your trade. So, but yeah, that's all I got, man. I know you wanted to get off relatively early, so I'm just going to pass the buck to Thor now.
He just raped a little. No
What?
way.
What?
I just took this short. Well, I don't know how they just filled me on that, but they just filled me on that. I didn't even know I had a short there. I just got filled on that short.
Did I say rape?
Man,
Oh,
I
man.
I just made like 2K in like 10 seconds. That was crazy. Okay. I didn't even know. I forgot I had that limit order there. I left half in. But yeah, you said raped a little, bro. You said raped a little, not like full on.
I'm sorry, man.
I know, sorry, bro. That's hilarious, bro. I can't with you, Thor. Oh my god, man.
Oh my god. That's
You're raped, just a little, not like
that's
full on rape.
hilarious. That's hilarious, bro. And
Yeah, I might get
hey,
stopped.
guys, I misspoke. I did not get in on my long at this range. I got him the long on the break of this one and this little retest here. That's where, because my entry was 74.2. I thought it was 73.2. Because after I got out of it, I got out of it. I didn't see it. I looked at our DMs, what I wrote or what I showed you the picture of. But yeah, it was up a little bit higher. I didn't get that because this was nice. Like personally, White Phoenix, based on your stuff, was that low nice? Like I feel like that's like kind of what you want to see, right? You like I know on the 30 seconds you have your actual structure here, and then you had a break.
Yeah, I missed that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. I just got filled for 14 Bitcoin with a $30 stop loss on a limit order, and it somehow worked. That's crazy.
Are you why? Is that why we just pushed down a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
And now we're coming right back up. Shit.
I just closed half of it, like via limit too, and I just like now it's a free trade with like 7 Bitcoin left, so I'm cool.
What'd you do? Short into the supply here.
Oh, I seen the open interest divergence. There was an open like as I got stopped in the first trade, I looked at it again. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a huge OI div here,
You're talking
and I
about
seen it,
this.
and I knew if the OI div was going to hold, that the high shouldn't go. So I said, screw it. I'm gonna try to front run it. Now sometimes that can work, sometimes it doesn't work, whatever. But in this case, it worked for me because the second I entered, I guess I held down the market there. I don't know, man. That was crazy.
Is this it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep,
And all
exactly.
right,
No, I'm
just
telling
double
you, they
checking
work.
based upon because I've been trying to pick your brain a little bit with the open interest to confirm this div. You want to see this low break, right?
Yeah, normally, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Normally.
gotcha.
Oh, this is banging, bro. Okay, I should have kept the whole 14 in. Why did I do that?
You de-risked?
Yeah, well, I paid myself. Yeah, it was an easy like. Well, I took $1,000 profit basically.
Nice,
Like I'm
nice.
up I'm up a little over 1,000 right now on the rest, but I'm gonna let it run down to VWAP. I think I'm gonna just move my stop loss and profit here. Oh, do, 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 do. I mean, I nailed the exact top. My entry is 76202. Like what the hell? Oh, now it's dumping in my favor. Boom.
Let's
All right.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a good trade, man. That's a really good trade. Freaking,
Yeah,
that's.
I'll show you some stuff if whenever you have spare time and you actually want to learn a few things that'll like give you an insane edge for scalping. I'll show you a few things.
Oh, you're gonna edge me? That sounds pretty gay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, Thor, come on. Hurry up. We're trying to be
Sounds
out
like
of here by
rape.
8:30. Just a little bit of rape, though.
It's a little bit. I mean, I don't know what you guys want me to say. It's just you guys just about covered everything.
I was the volume wick. I can call my mother and tell her I'm the volume wick now.
I
What?
personally think that we're at a.
Take a little bit. You hear that? That's
Sorry,
funny.
Thor.
Oh, it's all right. I was gonna say, man, I personally kind of feel like we're at a very pivotal moment because you did tap into the previous range high, 73.1. There's your tap. What's what a lot of people are going to say is that there's demand below, and I'm not going to argue that because there is demand below. I want to say that this was on the daily. This inside internal is actually your weekly or 6-day time frame. I can adjust it just ever so slightly here because it's a little off, but that's okay. You do have a potential of a weekly swing fail here. You have a daily swing fail as we speak. My concern is I would love to see us actually get a leg up. I really would. I think after retracing from 97.3 all the way down to this previous range and dumping nearly 26% is a pretty good leg down. This is kind of what we've been talking about for a long time, whether or not we're actually going to swing fail this low or not. And right now, you do have the potential of a possible swing fail. I'll move down to the lower time frames here in a second. We tapped right into that previous range, and when we did it, it wasn't quite the reaction that I was expecting. I was expecting more of like a reaction. We didn't necessarily get a reaction. Let me get rid of this. So I went to go play Rumble, and the next thing I know, I come back and it's already up like 5.5%. And I had mentioned this right as we were tapping into this previous range high. I should have just set a limit long there. I can't even begin to tell you guys how many times shit like this happens. If I go back, we've seen this play out so many times where we literally tap right into the range low, or we literally tap right into the range high, leaving a little bit of demand behind just below. Okay. We do that quite often. This is old charts, but this is like 2021, 2022. But we've seen that on the local time frames. We've seen that on the higher time frames. I should have just set a limit, and I should have just been like, you know what? Screw it, man. Like, if it doesn't hold, who cares? Yeah, since it's okay to catch a knife every now and then, that would have been the perfect place to actually try and catch a knife. Not only that, but we actually had a 30-minute bullish engulfing once we tapped right into that previous range high. It's sitting right here. So I think this is about the time that I actually came back from playing Rumble, losing at Rumble, also losing the long opportunity, because once I saw this on the lower time frames, you did have a reclaim down here on the very low time frames. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, where's the buying tail? Like, where is the buying tail? Like, it just looked like there was no participation. But once you started closing and holding above, that was pretty much it. I would have taken that. I would have gladly have taken that. So on the 6-day time frame, it's quite the conundrum right now. You did tap into the previous range high. We did get about a 5.5% bounce. I did tell you guys this morning that I was looking for either a tap into the wick high of the previous range or the candle bodies. We finally got our answer. So now what we're trying to contend with is actually if we're going to close and hold within this range or not. And right now the daily actually closed outside of the range. So you're closing outside of 76.3 right now. I think this tripped a lot of people up. On the higher time frames, I know what you guys are going to say. This is high time frame stuff, but on the volume profile really, really starts to thin out here. And when we deal with this on local time frames, 30-minute, 15-minute, we kind of have a range in here. We put in our bottom. The first thing we're actually looking for is a swing fail of the low, possibly a tap into the start of the single prints. This is essentially what you guys got. You had a tap into the previous range high. You can see in the volume profile right here is where the volume profile really starts to thin out. I would say that if this low doesn't hold, it's getting broken. And then I'm going to look to 71.4. And below 71.4, I'm going to look at the value area high where you got more volume coming in at 68.9. And below 68.9, I think it's GG's, man. I think at that point, you only have about 5 days left on this weekly time. You got 5 days left on the weekly. If we actually reject from the range that we've been playing in for over a year, I don't see how we don't actually have a weekly break of structure here. I just don't. So either 71.4 holds and you get like a fourth tap, which is kind of what Spartan and White Phoenix were alluding to. Maybe come down to 68.9 and get a tap, right? But I know there's talk about this point of control. I don't know where your I don't know why your point of control is coming in at like 70K Spartan, because the overall point of control of this range is actually 63,000. And at $63,000, you're going to have a weekly break of structure. I don't think that you're actually going to come down here and put a wick on the weekly and close below that, like close above this. I find that to be hard pressed.
Yeah,
But
you got dueling.
there's going to
POCs
be
there.
dueling nodes.
Yeah, up at the top right there, and the one right down there. That's where I think the one that I've been looking at's been popping up. I don't know.
You have volume coming in here,
Yeah,
and
no,
then you
no,
have this.
Never mind. I don't know. I don't know why mine's popping up so high.
It's probably because you're adding like one or two more candles than I am. Like you're probably taking this, which is shifting it ever so slightly. But from a higher time frame, I'm just going off of like where the break happened. So I'm only taking this from the volume profile, like right in here. Anyway, your overall point of control is actually sitting right around 63K. At 63K, guys, you do have some interesting things here. And I would expect a bounce from that point of control. I just don't think that after a weekly break of structure that you're going to start shifting to all-time highs. I just don't. Didn't happen in 2021. Once you broke weekly structure in 2021, it was game over. We went to 15.5 grand. Like that was it. That was totally it. So right here on the 6 hour time frame, was it the 6 hour? What time frame was it? We did have an order block sitting in here right around the point of control. Either way, you guys can clearly see that I could have swore it was on the 6 hour time frame. Let's zoom in a little bit. It was not. Was it the 12? It wasn't the 12. Let's check the daily. It's the daily, guys. You got a fair value gap. You got an order block sitting in here. You never kind of came and swept the point of control. You never did retest that point of control. So yeah, it's definitely an area that I'd be looking for, but that's down by 63K. So again, even on the daily time frame, you can really start to see how the volume profile thins out here. And you can see how that tapped right at the start of where the volume profile thins out. So I'm not very excited about the low that we have on the lower time frames, guys. Okay. You know, like I can shift down to like the hourly. There's barely any wick on the stick, but you did close and hold right on the previous range high at 73K. Here's another thing too, guys. I want to speak about this real quickly. I know that people are looking at this 4 hour order block, or that it was actually the 1 hour order block that's kind of sitting in here as it's gone slightly unmitigated. Okay. But we've seen this play out before where the 4 hour time frame actually comes up to that order block. It's close. It's very, very close. And then what happens is it trips people up thinking that we could find a rejection here. I'm not saying that we can't get a rejection from here. I'm just pointing out that the last time we did something like this with the 4 hour on the 4 hour time frame, where was it exactly? It was right in here. So if you guys remember, this tripped a lot of people up, this local uptrend all the way to 90.6 before we found a rejection right at the range high. That tripped a lot of people up, man. It tripped a lot of people up. And we did the same thing down here. We pretty much had the 4-hour fill. All right. Granted, you have an order block here, but you had a 4-hour fill, and what everybody was anticipating was a 2-hour to actually fill. And it's typically what comes first. Like the 4-hour filled, and we went right up to 90.6. So I want to say that if we can start closing and holding on these midterm timeframes back above 76.3 and start closing back within the overall range that we've been playing in for like a year. Yeah, is it possible that we kind of come up here, do something like this, kind of tap into this order block, and then possibly hold 76.3? Maybe. Maybe. You got volume in here, and what you're actually going to do is you're going to leave like, not only that, but what's going to happen is if you start closing and holding above 76.3, you're going to have a 2-hour order block sitting here. You got volume in here. You got a little bit of volume coming in here. I'll bet if I was to take this whole thing, like I got overlapping, I'll go out to the more macro volume profile here. This guy's right here. Start flipping and closing and holding above 76.3, and I think that we might actually rip for higher prices. I know Spartan was talking about like 86, 87K. There's an internal that sits in here right at 86K. You could come up to here around 87K. That's plausible. Even on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, that would actually be a fill of the gap on the weekly time frame, and it would actually backtest this previous range, this bear flag that we put in before we dumped. It would look something like this for another lower high. That's plausible. I'm kind of like in the same boat as White Phoenix. I really don't necessarily care about 86K because who gives a damn? I mean, there's money to be made way prior to 86K, but I kind of believe that if we actually hold 76.3, and I'm talking like closing and holding, I'm not talking about like just coming up here, waking out, swing failing this high, and then dumping again. I'm talking about an actual close and hold. Then I think it's a real possibility that you start wiping out these semi-equal highs. I think it's a real possibility that you start wiping out these semi-equal highs. But here's one thing to take notice of. You're still overall on the 30-minute in a downtrend. You got this going on. You got that going on. You got 1, 2, 3 taps here. That's fine. There's obviously some type of absorption that's happening right here at the lows. Let me get rid of this because it is pissing me off. So let's see here. Yeah, it's the same thing, guys. Your 1-hour order block is actually a 30-minute range. It just kind of sits like right in here. All right. You could highlight that. The GPs, the 6.5s kind of coming in there. Your 1-hour order block is sitting in there. You guys can see that. It's clear as day. So I'd be looking for something like this. A rejection from what White Phoenix is talking about and possibly closing this up a little bit. That's a real possibility. And then look locally for longs, maybe around 76.3 if we can close and hold it. If we can't, then, you know, there's another option here. You can actually start to come down here where 75.1 is. Now we're starting to dig down to the local time frames here, the lower time frames. So I just don't, I say all this stuff, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Asia, man. I just don't have a lot of faith in Asia. 30-minute, you got an order block sitting right here. You start closing and holding, you got an order block on the 30, you got an order block on the 2-hour. It's all sitting right in there, guys. You got to worry about that. If you can't close and hold it, then it's going to act like a breaker. And then you might come down and actually clean this up just below and play locally like White Phoenix is actually talking about. But I would say 76.3 is probably the most key level for me to actually look out for right now. Other than just playing the local side of the range, whether it's range low or range high. Here's another thing too, man. This is something that we were talking about for New York Open. You guys had the short opportunity. I told you guys for New York Open, I said for you guys that are more risk adverse and willing to catch a knife, you could either get short right here at 78.4 after a back test of 78.4, but the problem is if you start, even if you just started a little bit, started closing and holding above, you could have long 78.4 looking to wipe out these semi-equal highs and then possibly coming up to targets that we had already previously mentioned. So we saw that New York Open live stream. I did say you guys could have got short trying to catch a knife here. It would have been a pretty good short catching a knife, guys. Would have been a pretty good short catching a knife. Nearly 7.5%. At the time, you were trying to, you were just like kind of tapping into that internal, and you were also finding a rejection right from VWAP, but it was a little bit iffy, man. It was a little bit iffy.
I think
And the
that's
reason why I say it was iffy is because you had semi-equal highs and you had semi-equal lows.
yeah.
You didn't necessarily know a direction other than you closed outside of this internal range, and then you tapped to the dollar right into the VWAP and 78.4. So
I was gonna say Thor, like I wouldn't really consider that catching a knife. No, you a break and a retest. I feel like
I don't
that's standard procedure. You know, break and
I don't know,
retest.
man. Yeah, but I mean, this,
'Cause
like,
you're on the
just the
what,
way that you
2 hour?
had this,
Yeah.
like, if you started moving up, you're already going to start liquidating shorts in here immediately. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you had a really nice break and then anything to lay back up into. It was one or the other. It was literally one or the other. I get your point though, because once you close, you should actually look for a retest, and you got it to the dollar, man. 78.4 was to the dollar, but you know, what do you do? What do you do when you have this above you? That's a big question. I mean, did you take 78.4? Did you short 78.4?
I believe I'll tell you right now what the exact level was. I think if that's the range, yeah, I shorted a little bit higher the POC of that entire range, which was I know on your Bybit USDT it's going to be a little different, but on mine I think the actual level was 79.2. I might be lying. No, 78, 78. I don't know. Right around there. Yeah, literally right around there. Let me look for the
Yeah.
screenshot. I know I tagged it. So
I was in the
79 flat.
boat of it being a little 79.5.
79 flat.
Oh, okay. 79 flat is, I mean,
Oh, but that's not
dude,
the that's not
you're a
my
little bit you're a little
no.
bit above that, man.
That's not my actual
You're,
position because it was a compound down. Shit, I'll tell you now. But it
you're a
was
little bit
around that
above
area.
that. Even on the 30-minute, you were either going to break up and then find this order block as support, or you're going to break down. I mean, for literally 2 hours straight. Look at this. So that's just what we were served up this morning for New York Open. You guys had a decision to make right then and there, and that was pretty much it. Thing is it would have been nice to maybe come up and mitigate this a little bit, just fill the 30-minute and see a possible swing fail locally in here. That would have been cool. I would have been more satisfied with that. So yeah, as of right now, it looks like you're probably going to leave. I mean, you got 15 minutes on the 30-minute time frame, but it looks like you're probably going to leave a 30-minute order block right at the macro range low of 76.3. I'm in the boat that if you do start coming up here, especially like right in here, guys, right where that 1 hour order block is, 30-minute range, then I would be looking for back tests here. That would be demand
just to
right at a
re-edit.
macro range low.
It was 78.6 was my actual entry. That's where I got into that trade. So
78.6. Yeah, you pretty much got in like right as you started dumping from 78.8.
it was on that retest of the the volume node, I believe that was there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you had it. You had it.
So
And it's essentially sitting right here. This is what he's talking about, guys. That was more or less like right at the ledge.
the
But
lower
yeah,
time
I
frame
digress.
range.
I will say this, guys. Like, we talked about this morning too. The oscillators are screaming with bullish divs, potential bullish divs to bullish divs, okay? I don't know if we're actually going to see a weekly bullish div. It's plausible. It's definitely plausible. We'll see in the next 4 to 5 days whether or not we actually have a weekly bullish div here. There is a potential that this could come much lower and then negate the bullish divs on the weekly time frame. All right. That's a given. But the 6-day, same thing. 5-day, bull divs. 4-day, bull divs. I know some of you guys are going to say, well, you're bleeding out, but that shouldn't matter because I've told you like 100 times over, even on the 6-hour, you could be bleeding. You could be bleeding like a sieve, man, and you're still going to get something out of it. So you got potential bullish divs on all of these time frames. That's not to say like we can't div out more and be pushed even lower, but they're there. They're all of these bull divs on all these high time frames are literally sitting right at the macro range low. So not only do we have a potential swing fill of this low here, but we've got bull divs on all these time frames. Daily, you got bull divs on the daily time frame right now. There's a couple different time frames that kind of concern me, like the 18-hour and the 12-hour. They look like trash, but you still have bull divs on these time frames all the way down, guys, all the way down. Again, I've said it like a broken record, but every single time, 9 times out of 10, every single time that you see bull divs, 6-hour time frames, one of my favorite time frames. Every single time that you see bull divs, you get upside. Okay? Never mind the juice. That's 5%. Another bull div here, upside. What do you have? Let me turn this off real quick. Nearly 5%. What do you got here? Bull divs, upside. Nearly, you're talking almost, you're 5.5%, 6%. Okay? Those are pretty good moves, man. If you guys are like new to trading or anything else, I strongly suggest that you add the 6-hour time frame to your trading view. It's one of my more favorite time frames. It really is. So yeah, we got bull divs heading right into this macro range low. We did previously tapped on the range below us. We've seen that play out numerous times. People are actually looking for lower, and then we get a tap right at the range high. That happened. It's good for nearly 6%, guys. Say what you will, but it's still good for 6%. Like if we're satisfied with like 0.5% or even 0.75% or 1%, I don't know how anybody can actually be salty about a 6% move.
Yeah.
I just don't. So I want to see us actually close and hold 76.3. If we can actually close and hold 76.3, then yeah, I think it's possible that we see some more upside. I think that about covers it. I mean, in all honesty, this local downtrend is still intact, guys. It's still intact. You're putting in lower lows and lower highs. I really do think that what White Phoenix said about that 1-hour order block, that 30-minute range, is going to be, it could be your sticking point. You'll just have to see if we can actually close and hold 76.3. If you can't, then I'd probably be looking to short it.
Hey, the one good thing
And
that
that kind of sucks to say because I kind of feel like I told everybody this morning too in New York Open, I'm looking for like the next leg up. I really am. I'm looking for like the next leg up. So if this isn't your bottom, it's got to be close. I would say it's got to be close to a bottom.
no. No, the crazy thing is I'm starting to see people in the chat and on Twitter and stuff talking about, hey, don't buy until you get under 65 or 60, whatever. So you have a lot of people that are probably going to get left on the sidelines if this is the bottom, which is always funny.
Well, that's awfully funny that you mentioned that because they said the same thing back here, and we actually got that to the dollar. Even though it was a double tap, we had mentioned that when we came down here to like 74, 8-ish.
You were so
And
pissed. You don't remember how mad you were?
I know, but there was things in here. That's why. I was mad because once we started closing, I missed it. You know what I mean?
No.
So
I remember you were
I
fuming
wanted
that
to
day.
see lower, but there was reasons here. Just like everybody wants to see lower, but there's a reason here.
No.
So that's the point I'm trying to make.
No.
That's the point I'm trying to make right now.
Bro, imagine
But
if
yeah, I mean,
Bitcoin just
we'll
melts
we'll see what
everybody's face
happens.
now. That would be hilarious, bro. If this is it. Like I'm not pulling for that, but that would be quite funny. Cause I actually know a friend of mine that sold at 81K. It was dumping. I'm like, you're a dork. Like you're a dork. But yeah,
It's
now
typically moves. It's typically moves and legs down like this where people capitulate, and then once they capitulate, we get to move up, and now they're all salty because they sold at a bottom. Like, why not just wait for structure, right? Like,
yeah.
if this is a swing fill, that's fine, but like, why not just wait for structure? It's the same thing here, guys. Like, once we put in that daily wick and went from range high straight down to range low in one day, you had a decision to make, but like, why sell down here and capitulate? Why not just wait for the lower high, right? And then sell in here. Could have sold, I mean, you didn't have to necessarily sell at the top. You could have sold right at like 115, 116, 112, somewhere in there.
Yep.
We did forewarn everybody. I know White Phoenix forewarned everybody. I forewarned everybody. This whole pattern is so similar to 2021. It's utterly insane. The only difference that I'm kind of seeing right now is like we didn't necessarily have all these divs at a macro range low with the possibility of a swing fill. And again, that's not to say that we can't div out more because we definitely can, but 76.3 is a key level for me right now. So I'll be watching that. Another thing to mention too is like, I know that people are looking at this and it just looks like a shitty low, but how many times have we put a shitty low? This was a shitty low. Still ran it up to $125,000, $124,000. So, you know, just because even White Phoenix says that, well, what makes it a poor low compared to like a good low? Involvement. I mean, typically, the only answer I could possibly give White Phoenix is like, it's nice to see when price comes down that you get a sharp reaction. You know, I guess more or less it shows participation. There is limits filled there, large limit orders. It was an aggressive bounce.
Yep, I held up the market with that.
With that short?
No, short at the bottom. That's why it bounced. No, it didn't, bro.
Is that you're talking about your short now?
3-minute
No.
time frame on White Phoenix short was this little order block sitting on the 3-minute time frame, which tapped right into it, which is also the the previous macro range that we're trying to deal with right now.
Yeah,
and it was a good place to possibly take a short because you can see that 76.3 was already mitigated. You had that order block, you had that fill. Like, if you're going to play 100x scalps, it was a pretty good one. I'll give him that.
Well, I only had a
good one.
It was only like, what was it? 14 times 50. It was like $400, something like that risk for a quick like 2K gain. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. And another thing to his point, since we're sitting here on the lower time frames, the 3 minute right here, guys.
Mm,
This range, there's volume in there. Okay.
Yeah, I
Between the
think we're all-
volume, you have a couple different spots here. You have the GP that's coming in at the bottom. You did have a
Do you have a
deviation. You
do you
never
have
quite
anything right
reclaimed
in
it.
Thor? Do you have anything right in that zone or on only on the bottom? Because I was hoping you're going to say you had
Well,
something at the top.
let's take a look.
That's what
Let's dissect it, because we can always dissect. I've said this before. Like, if you guys see an order block is nothing more than a low time frame range.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all it is. Okay, that's all it is.
I
So
know.
if you want to figure out the discrepancies within that order block, you can go and find the lower time frame range, and then we can just simply highlight the range, pull a volume profile over it, and try and find the key points of the range and see where the discrepancy might lie. Like, we can say that we had a deviation and then a back tested the range low. You did tap the value area. All right. You did.
Yeah.
The point of control looks a little bit iffy here. And if I shoot to a different time frame, I'm sure we can find something around that point of control. Maybe.
That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe. You got an order block, a 15-minute order block that's kind of sitting right over the point of control. It would act more like a zone in here. So
Yeah.
there would be some type of refinement. I wouldn't necessarily say like you can pinpoint the point of control, but I would treat it more like a zone in here. All right.
Yeah.
I would treat it more like a zone. But again, I've said this before, it's what comes first. You have to worry about possibly tapping off of the range high here and getting a partial fill and then ripping from the range high. That's what we're experiencing right now. It's usually what comes first. Okay. It's usually what comes first. Can we tap into that, then possibly come back up for a lower high while this had just mitigated the range high to pave the way for taking the point of control? Yeah. That's typically how it works, guys. It's typically how it works. Not all the time, but most of the time. It doesn't usually happen where you come for the point of control. If you come for the point of control first and you get a bounce, and you should be looking for this to this. But it's typically the range and then the point of control. Let me, wow. Shoot up to a higher time frame, and my value areas are all over the place, guys. They're all over the place. See, even on the 30-minute, you got an order block that's sitting in here, guys. And where is the top of that order block? It's sitting right at the range high. So yeah, if you're going to swing fail these lows, and this is the first place I'd be looking is 75,182. Let's just round it up to 75.2. If you're going to play this locally, and we don't rip higher, okay, then yeah, I mean that's definitely going to be the first place that I'm looking for. Look at this. Your 30-minute order block is nothing more than a 3-minute range.
Yeah.
That's what you got. Okay? That's what you got. So I'd be looking at the range high. The value area has been previously mitigated, so you don't have to worry about that. I'd be looking at the range high down to the point of control. That's it. And that's the upper half of the overall range. That's kind of what you would expect if you're going to get a bounce in here. That's kind of what you would expect. Typically what happens if you don't get a bounce from like the point of control of the range high, you come right for the low, then you re-tag the point of control, then you come up and re-tag the range high. We've seen that play out too. But oftentimes you pretty much want to stick within the upper half of the overall range. So right now we actually are getting a back test of 76.3 on the lower time frames. You can see where we actually had a nice little tap right at 76.3. That's on the lower time frames though, guys. And again, you do have an order block that's sitting in here on the 30-minute time frame. It'd be nice to see this hold and then push up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Right in here.
Also want to point out, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but your 15-minute candle right there. That up candles on the Asia Open has no wick on the stick. Did I say that right? No,
No
wick on the
wick on the
stick.
stick. Yeah. No wick on the stick, guys.
Red alert. Red alert.
All I got to do is change a time frame, though. Like I can change any time frame around the 30-minute, and then things
15
kind of
is
change a
double
little
no
bit.
wick.
15-minute.
Is it?
Well,
Yeah.
it's not double no wick. You really just have no wick on the on this up
What
What
candle.
about the
bullish engulfing
one
underneath
before
it?
that?
Yeah, the other bullish engulfing has none either.
That's,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Come
right
on
down
now.
here. Yep.
No wick
Yep.
on list sticks. List sticks.
Wickless sticks.
Again, I change the time frame, and you start to see them. They're there, and they're just small. Like you definitely got no wick on the stick on the 15-minute on this up.
Small ones matter too, Thor.
You definitely got no one there.
2
So
millimeter
yeah,
Peter.
something to be concerned about, but I don't know. I don't.
Pump it.
Again, I'm not terribly concerned about it.
Yeah.
2 millimeter Peter.
Again, the only thing that you really need to know is like, what's that?
I said 2 millimeter Peter.
That's what
The
you
only
have to
thing
be concerned
you
about.
really need to know here is like you did more or less fill this. You did more or less fill it. Like I would find that acceptable, especially after explaining like swing fails and all the rest of that, where you kind of tap into the volume profile and you leave a little bit of the single prints behind. Now I don't know if that's necessarily on this circumstance, but I'd find that okay. Like it's okay. I know that there's things below there. We just talked about it, but it's pretty much a 2-hour fill, man. It's pretty much a 2-hour fill. We're getting a move up, guys. We're getting a move up, and that's after retesting 76.3. I mean, White Phoenix would have taken a long for less than that. White
Yeah.
Phoenix definitely would
liking
have
it.
taken a long for less than that. Yeah, about the same, give or take. I want to see it go, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'd love for this to actually be our next leg up, but Asia sucks my nuts, and we'll see what Asia actually does.
Asia love you long
It's another
time,
thing
bro.
too. Even on the 6-hour time frame, that's still like right into your 1-hour order block, and that's coming all the way back up to like 77.9.
Yeah.
So really, this is like your only tripping point before you start wiping this out. You back tested the internal. You have semi-equal highs. You have 3 semi-equal highs in here on the lower time frames. You have a fair value gap sitting all the way up to the value area low of the macro range. We can see where volume starts stepping in right in here. The previous range, the previous local range.
No.
So
You can walk that up
what
like a ladder.
what do we say about swing fails? If you're going to have a swing fail of the low, then you should be targeting the high. Well, if you're going to target the high, where could we possibly go? Everything in here has been mitigated. You're probably going to sweep this, and you're probably going to come up somewhere in here.
Yep.
That's all I got for you guys.
Bro, one thing, guys, there's a lot of people trying to make back money right now that they lost longing this whole dump down. And now they think the right move is to start shorting. So watch for a lot of tricky stuff to get wrecked, you know.
Can I say one more thing? Like, and I'll make it very quick. We know on the lower time frames we just tapped 76.3. Okay, we know that. You on the lower time frames you can tap 76.3. On the higher time frames you can still come back down here. I wouldn't necessarily expect the same exact tap at 76.3, but it might come a little bit more below or a little bit more above. Is there anything in there where we might be able to say like, okay, well, if we come back on the higher time frames to retest, because that's what we're actually looking for is like 15, 30 minute. Okay. Let's highlight this. Let's take a line and put it right at the top of that 30-minute order block, and then go down to the lower time frames. Is there anything in there that you actually see? Man, I mean, yeah, I mean you do. Like even on the lower time frames, we know that we tapped here. Okay, we could actually just come slightly below on the higher time frames if we actually retest 76.3, and we might land at like 76.261. That's a possibility. Or you come a little bit lower. There's some things in here. There's definitely some things in here.
I
And
wouldn't.
if that's not the case, well, then you're going to rotate back down to what we were talking about.
I-
A loss of 76.3 is a big deal to me.
I really wouldn't mind, and I think this might actually turn into the better play if we go up, tap that supply first, then come back down to test 76.3. Because if we get a true bounce from 76.3, what's stopping us at that point?
That's
Sure,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why not just come up into this order block, retest anything that's been left behind, and then see if this actually holds?
yeah.
See if, because we have this above us and we have this below us. So I'm
Phoenix,
curious to see what happens.
what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Look at my chart I just posted on the left. That's ETH on the bottom. That's Bitcoin in the middle, and that's USDT dominance on the top. Bitcoin's taking the high. USDT and ETH aren't even close to the high. That's a bearish divergence, and those play out all the time. I think we're going to SFP and we're going to fail here if we even take the high. I'm watching for shorts right now, actually, but I'm waiting for structure. Either we do one or those two situations, and I'm shorting the crap out of it. So we'll see.
Yeah, you lose 76.3, and I think like White Phoenix, you're pretty much cooked. And I started off with that too. You have a daily close outside of the whole macro range. Like I know on the higher time frames, you can't see it, but like look, even on the 2-day, it's the first time in a year that you broke the range low and you have a close below. So if you find something in here locally and you start losing 76.3 and you have that 30-minute order block, it should act as a breaker, and you might have a potential of actually shorting 76.3 if you don't catch a knife up here. So I think we're pretty much looking at it the same way, but this is what concerns me. That's what I pointed out in the channel. I don't like to see the daily close below. Like, it would have been nice to see this actually close back within the range and then back test, but that's a little bit concerning, not going to lie. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat on the fence, man, because I do feel like we should actually get another leg up. Like I really do. Like it'd be nice to see another leg up, possibly for another leg down.
Yeah.
What do you got at 84-ish?
I want to show you guys something. The same thing kind of happened here, but you closed within. Like you see this? This was the overall range that we were playing within at the highs, 123 to 100.9, before you broke that low, the daily low that was sitting in here. You see, we actually came back to the previous range. You kind of tapped in there, and you tried to close and hold within. It finally just gave way. Finally just gave way.
Hey, do you have anything at 84? Just wondering. On your boxes.
84?
Yeah.
Yeah, 84.4 is the internal.
Okay.
84.4 is the internal that just kind of sits in here. I can't remember what time frame. This is the historical chart, so it's showing a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
87.4, you're talking 87K. 87.4 is where you have a 2-day. That's where that 2-day order block is coming in at.
That's where that other
So,
node is too. And then 84 is that
yeah,
POC.
right in here.
I see you have it written on your chart. Yeah, exactly. And we could get into ping pong mode because of that low volume node. Where if we get in there, you have to get in there first. We're still $10,000 away, or $8,000 away from
It's a
getting in there.
long shot away, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's a long shot away.
Bro, I don't know. I had like the magic touch. The universe loved me today for scalping with ridiculously tight stop losses. I hit 5 for 6.
Yeah.
nice.
Well, one thing I know about you is like you definitely ride the highs, and you get pissed when you don't get your way. That's
Oh yeah.
funny. It's just something I noticed with you. Like you're like, oh my gosh, screaming, carrying on.
Gets all Canadian.
Well, when they don't
Yeah.
run fucking highs 100 times in a row, or they miss the low 1,000 times, it gets so annoying, bro. I hate it. I'm so over it.
I know.
Like, just take the fucking high. Don't be stupid, you know? Or take a low. Like if this
You could have
right now,
literally played this on the local time frames, like the 1, 2, 3 minute time frames. You could have shorted from here and rode it all the way down. You could have longed from the bottom. You could have rode it all the way up to where we're at, or you could have played it like White Phoenix, where you could have been in and out scalps, in and out scalps, in and out scalps, in and out scalps.
I'm better at those.
So
He likes the in and out.
I
That's
have
why
a
he has
hard
like
time
10.
leaving trades run. Bro.
That's why you
I
have
can't
like
leave trades
10
run.
kids, bro.
Anyway, they're taking profits.
he's just the tip guy.
Yeah, bro.
I'm just a tip guy. Yeah,
Just
so
a
that's
tip.
all you need is just a tip.
That's wild.
There's plenty of ways that you can play the price action, guys. That's my whole point. Plenty of ways.
Give it the tip or
So.
give it the long strokes. Either way, you can figure it out.
My wife was right next to you guys when you said that.
I can't handle it.
Ain't no way.
This is
Yeah, for real.
quite interesting as well. On the 12-hour time frame, we can see that we actually have this happening right here. If we were just to go off of nothing historically, but we're to take current PA. Sorry, that's what am I doing here? We can highlight this. We can look at this from a different perspective, guys. It's probably going to give us the same answer, but we can look at it from a different perspective. I could probably clean this up just ever so slightly. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that was tapped, man. It was tapped. That was tapped.
Well, I really hope they don't front run.
Where's that 1 hour order block at? That 1 hour order block, man. Guys, if you don't necessarily have just like a very shallow swing fail of this right into this order block, then where's the bottom of this? 76, 77K? I know that looks horrible, but from a 12-hour time frame perspective, like that's what we got. I probably wouldn't use a 12-hour time frame, but
I don't see the OI, dude.
I would definitely use a lower time frame that captures majority of this PA. Let's look at it from a 6-hour perspective, and let's just look at the overall local range that we're putting in here, guys. Deviation, close within, back tested the range low. Let's pull a volume profile over all of this and see what we got going on here. Let's go down to the 1 hour time frame, see where that order block kind of sits. Man, that order block just kind of sits like right in the LVN, but it starts like right in the ledge of where most of your volume is sitting here. Clearly acceptance back inside the range. I could probably refine this a little bit more, but I'm not going to. Not going to.
Had a big spike
Point
in
of
open
control has
interest.
been previously mitigated as well. So yeah, like again, it just goes back to what White Phoenix was saying. Like that's, for me, that's about the only sticking point I can find, guys. It really is. That order block on the 1 hour.
Yeah,
That's
they
it
don't
for
run
me,
this
dude.
thing high. That's it, bro. I'm gonna be mad. That's it.
If they just dump from here.
They're going. Yeah, they totally just did. Oh my god, you're kidding me. No way, bro.
You could have an expansion on this range, like if this is where we close, but we actually start producing higher highs and higher lows, we start breaking these, like 30-minute structure, and you start taking out these semi-equal highs. I suppose that I could expand slightly on the overall macro range to include this, but I'm not going to for the time being. Doesn't serve me any purpose. The purpose right now is that you actually had a daily close outside of the range. What do we say? How many times do we say this? The only difference is like you have bullish divs on all these time frames right at a macro range low. But typically, once you start breaking down from a range, you would expect some follow through. If you don't get the follow through, then you should be looking for a swing fail. That's exactly what's happening right now. So I will say this, and then I'm done. Like, you are at a very pivotal moment right now
That's a crazy swing
in
fail.
in Bitcoin history.
What's the SFP?
You're at a
What's-
very
Blind?
pivotal moment.
What would that target be for that swing fail?
Dude, I don't know. Just because it is a swing fail doesn't mean that it's going to swing fail. Like,
There you go, Medino.
yes, if you want to get technical, you had a swing fail of the pivot low here. So what does that mean? It should mean a rotation all the way back up to the range high, but
That's
that
fairy
doesn't
tales.
mean that it's going to happen, dude. It does not mean that it's going to happen.
That's fairy tales, and that's
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was
But
just jesting.
I
with
mean,
that.
what would you expect from like potential weekly bullish divs down, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And we weren't like that in 2022.
no, man,
No.
I don't like. Let's take a quick look. Let's
Nice.
take a quick look. So I think everybody here, Spartan, White Phoenix, would probably say like, let's I can't pull the historicals here because it just doesn't correlate. But what we can say is like, maybe we have something like this going on. I like this better. I like taking this. We've done this before. So you had a weekly, this was the overall weekly range back in 2021. Look what happened, man. Like, let's shoot down to the daily and see if we can clean this up a little bit. You did. Let's highlight this. We'll highlight this. You did have a weekly swing. You had a swing fail. And not only that, but you kind of consolidated here just at the range low. You never really broke within, not on the daily. Man, it just looks so eerily similar. So let's take a look. Did we have bull divs? Is this actually gonna? Did this stop? Does this actually stop? We did have bull divs on this time frame. No, we did not. We did not. We had bull divs down here. So let's take a look at the weekly. Let's see what the weekly actually looked like once we started breaking below. No, man, it doesn't look anything the same. It doesn't look anything the same. It does not look anything the same. Not on any of these higher time frames. On the higher time frames, you didn't have anything like we actually have right now. Nothing. 4-day, nothing. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, here you had a round of bull divs, but we're not talking. We're talking about this. You never closed back within the overall range. You never did it. You never did it. Let's go down to like the 6-hour time frame, see if we had anything going on. No, nothing like we actually have now. We did have bull divs, but nothing like we actually have now, man. Not the same. Very much different. Man, hanging on by a thread. Hanging on by a thread, White Phoenix. Hanging on by
Well,
a thread.
it sucks. I don't know how I missed that. I couldn't type it quick enough, and then the big bearish candle came out of nowhere, so I wasn't entering there. It was too. It wasn't. I was shorting right into the POC of the session, so I'm like, not really doing that with my size.
You can see how aggressive the shorts actually got too, tapping into this previous range, man. You can see it in the volume profile here. Like you had a lot of value area down shorts. Like there was net shorts being trapped right into that previous range high. And still, I mean, there's still a lot of people sitting in here that are trying to buy this up. There's definitely more longs than there is shorts. See this? This is kind of what I was talking about last night. You see how all these longs got trapped up here?
Yeah.
And you had shorts coming in. Now you got an opposite effect here. You got longs trying to come in here. You got shorts that are trapped at the lows. Dude, that blows my mind that actually there's people out there that there's more people out there that were actually shorting the lower low on the 30-minute than there was longs, but it happens all the time, man. It's more or less like breakout traders.
Yeah. Was that even a div, or was it? No, it was not a div. We swept the high on fucking MEXC. That's not even a dip. Okay, never mind. It just so happened to work anyway. That's interesting. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about the OI thing. Yeah, there wasn't even a div of MEXC. It was just a straight up like swing fail SFP of the high. Little tiny one, little 1 minute 30-second break.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
If
we're
you
gonna back
get
test
above
up.
this, you're gonna fill this, guys. You're gonna fill this. These single prints that are sitting in here, you start getting above this, you're gonna fill this.
You have anything at 76K for a bounce or no? Like around the session.
Yeah, 76. Well, 76.3.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, right now you're back testing it, and it's just like we said. We actually never really tapped in the same place twice. I bet if we moved down to that 1 minute time frame, that is super close. So we were talking about this, guys. We were talking about like not touching in the same place twice, and look what happened here. You see this?
Yeah, this just might be 2 minute SFP.
We knew on the low time frame it was previously tapped, but on the higher time frames it wasn't. Look what we just tapped right into. So this has got to go, man. Like
I'm hoping it's a 2 minute SFP. Let me go up to the high and sweep that high. I want to take that high out. Don't do this stupid stuff now. We want to take the high and get it over with.
Yeah, I'd prefer that too, man. Now that we actually have a back test here, I would prefer to actually come up here.
If I was in a short, I'd already have stopped the break even because that's 2 minute SFP. You could rotate all the way back up. Chances are it's not very high odds to put in a high like put in a high like that. That actually looks like the same high that I just took on my first short. It looks pretty similar in nature, where it looked like it was working at first and to rip right back up on me. Crazy.
Yeah, you're talking your little local scalp here at 76.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm glad the second I close that short, I market close it. That probably doesn't help. But anyways, the second I closed it, it immediately reversed like crazy. It happened so quick that I couldn't long it.
You have nothing but a 30-minute. Like that's essentially it. But that's pretty much all you need. Like at this point, like if 76.3 doesn't hold, I mean, I suppose we could come a little bit lower. POC. We can kind of look at like some things in here, but the overall point of control is sitting in here too. This is where most of your volume's coming in. So
Gotcha.
We'll see what happens, guys.
All right. Don't mean to be rude, but we've been going on for like 2 hours now. So
I'm ready to call
I said it was done, but White Phoenix keeps chatting. So
hey, me. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty much done anyways until tomorrow probably. I'm not scalping no more tonight. I mean, I did enough today.
Yeah.
Unless we get that high, I'm not going to miss the high. If we sweep that high, I'll take it. But other than that, I'm not playing the internal range stuff with Asia tonight. I'm not in the mood to. So now he's a bazillion
Said
trades to go under.
76, man. What do I have at 76? I don't really have anything at 76 other than what we talked about. So that's it for me.
2 shakes and a wiggle. 76. What do you say? You don't have the stamina for hours. You're lacking the stamina, Thor?
Lacking the stamina. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Yarbrough C? Yarbrough C? Yarbrough C? I can't say his name.
You don't have the stamina for hours? No, man. I'm getting old. I'm getting impotent.
Like I said, 2 shakes and a wiggle. That's all I need, man. I don't need hours. Nobody wants hours anyways. Jeez.
What's a time waster?
Started
And
the
you could be
stream at
trade.
like 7:15, man. So it is going
Right.
on like 2 hours,
All right.
which is pretty much par for the course. We can never get it under 2 hours. Every time all 3 of us get together, it's like 2 hours,
We're
guaranteed.
the 3 best
Yeah,
friends
it's hard to
that
fit it on.
anyone can have.
It's hard to fit. It's hard to fit more than just a tip in,
Pretty much.
All
in
right.
that amount of time.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
ending the recording. So, hey, everybody say bye, and then we can talk shit for a little longer. Bye.
Bye.